Okay, let us concentrate. Now we are in the second class of light. Earlier in our subject we studied that light exactly of dual nature according to the two different concepts. Light, according to Sir Isaac Newton, said light comes in the small particles, and next Huygens said light is in wave nature. Based upon that one we studied, and we studied up to Max Planck hypothesis, that Max Planck said that light possesses dual nature. Light exhibit wave nature and particle nature. Based upon that one we have at last we studied light got two properties. Light will have wave nature and particle nature. When the light during propagation it exhibit wave nature. When the light interact with some materials, light will exhibit the particle nature. So after this we are going to discuss some terminologies regarding of light. What is the terminology? What is the terminology? There are certain terms are there related to light. Some we study in our subject, some we will not concentrate. Some of the terminologies that we are going to learn in today's class. What is that? First one, terminology. Terminology. Let us see. First one, luminous body. What is luminous body? The body which emits the light. The body emits the light. That body we will call it as luminous body. When a body emits the light, that body we will call it as luminous body. Example, sun, electric bulb are called luminous bodies. Sun emits its own light. Electric bulb, when you will switch on, it emits its own light. Those bodies I will call it as luminous bodies. You take stars, that also luminous bodies, it emits its own light. So what is that? When a body emits light, when a body emits light is called as luminous body. A body emits light, we will call it as luminous body. Examples, sun, electric bulb will be treated as luminous bodies. Is there any such body if you will find which is emitting its own light? We will call that body as what? Luminous body. Next, non-luminous bodies. Non-luminous body. What is this second one? Another terminology we find in the light. What is that non-luminous body? The body which does not emit its light. The body which does not emit its light, it is not an emitter. I will call But what happens from some body, if light will fall on that body, it will reflect the light. Just like light is falling on me, my light is reflected back to you. I will become a non-luminous. Imagine light is falling onto this board. After falling, that light will be reflected. You can see the board. Sunlight will fall onto the moon. Moonlight will be reflected back to the earth. Moon will become a non-luminous. It does not have its own light. Only it has an ability to reflect the light. When the light will fall onto the earth, if you stand somewhere in the space, the light from the earth will be reflected back to that position. Earth will become a non-luminous. Is it clear? So, when the light will fall onto the chair, chair will reflect the light back. You can see the chair. Chair will become a non-luminous. So what I will say in non-luminous body is what? It will not emit its own light. It has an ability to emit the light. It is not the emitter. But what it will do? When light will fall from somewhere onto that body has a capability to reflect the light. That bodies we are calling it as non-luminous bodies. So what is that? When a body does not emit its own light, but it has an ability to reflect the light from luminous bodies. When a body does not emit its own light, but it has an ability to reflect the light from a luminous body. A luminous body will incident the light on that one. It has an ability to reflect back. That body we are calling it as non-luminous. It does not emit its own light. Very simple. Does not emit its own light, but has an ability to reflect the light. When the light falls from some luminous body, what are the bodies? Example, you can take moon is the best example, table is the example, or this board itself will become an example for the non-luminous bodies. Okay, there are two terminologies we have gone through. One is called the luminous, next one we will call it as non-luminous. Yes, coming to the next, transparent bodies. Transparent bodies. What is the transparent bodies? What are transparent bodies? What is a transparent body? When light is allowed to pass through a substance, the light easily passes through them and it is made visible to see all the things present in that bodies, in that materials. We are calling that as transparent bodies. The bodies, if you take example, light is allowed to pass through the air, easily the light passes through the air, transparent body. When the light is allowed to pass through the water, the light easily passes through the water. Water will become a transparent body. Take a glass, light is allowed to pass through the glass. Easily the light passes through the glass. This water, glass and air simply we will call transparent bodies. The bodies easily which allow the light to pass through them. The bodies which are easily make the path, make the way, are easily the light passes through them. We are calling those bodies as what? Transparent bodies. The light passes through the bodies easily. The substances make the light to pass through them easily. We are calling it as a transparent. Now you see, light is falling on me. It is a transparent medium. Nothing but it is an air, light easily passing from one point to the another point, light easily propagating through this air. I will call air is a transparent material. Take any torch, incident the torch onto the water. If you will allow the light to pass through the water, easily the light enters into the water, and what is there inside the water easily it make visible to us. That will become, water becomes a transparent. So what happens here? Transparent bodies are what? The bodies which make the light to pass through them easily will become a transparent body. So what is that? The substances which makes the light to pass through them. The substances which makes the light to pass through them easily, we will call it as transparent bodies. Example, air, glass, water, etc. If you find any more bodies, you can take it as an example. Air is there, easily it will allow the light to pass through them. Water is there, which allows the light to pass through them easily. Glass is there, which allows the light to pass through them. We will call it as transparent bodies, simply. Then, coming to the next one, translucent bodies. Translucent bodies. What are these bodies? Translucent. There are certain substances are there which will allow a partial light through them. A small part of light it will allow to pass through them. We are calling that substances as what? Translucent bodies. That bodies we will call translucent. There are certain bodies we are going to find ground glass, paraffin wax. If you allow the light to pass through ground glass, or if you allow the light to pass through paraffin wax, the light enters into that one. But when it is emerging, what happens? When it will come out, only a small part of the light is visible to us. The vision is not that much clear. Only a small part of the light propagates through that one. The remaining part of the light will be blocked there by the substance. So, what happens here? If you take paraffin wax, ground glass, you are going to find that as a translucent. The body which allows only a part of light through them. The bodies which allows only a small part of light to pass through them. That body we will call it as a translucent. A small part of the light passes through them. We are calling it as a translucent. Due to that reason, the vision will not be clear. Many times, like this type of glasses, we will put to our windows in our residence. Okay? Because outside people should not see clearly. Only they can see the image from that side. Because the vision is not that much clear. The reason will be, what happens? Only a partial flow of light will be there through that one. those bodies we will call it as a translucent bodies. Okay, what is that? These are the bodies which allows a small part of light through them. These are the bodies which allows a small part of light through them, called translucent bodies, or it allows partial light through them. Called as translucent bodies. Examples: paraffin wax, ground glass. Best examples for the translucent bodies. Only a small part of the light passes through them. Those we are calling it as a translucent. Next one, opaque. Opaque bodies. Opaque bodies. What is this opaque bodies? These are the bodies which does not allow light through them. These are the bodies which does not allow the light to pass through them. No part of the light is possible to emit from that one. If you allow the light, no light will be possible to emit. What happens here? Example, you can take wood or stone. Vision is not possible. The best examples of the opaque, you take wood and stone. Whenever the light is allowed to fall on the opaque bodies, what happens here? Vision is not possible. Light will not pass through them. And those bodies we are calling it as opaque bodies. Opaque bodies we will call, through which vision is not at all possible. Those bodies we are calling it as opaque bodies. So, what is that? These are the bodies in which vision is not possible. It does not allow the light to pass through them. It does not allow the light to pass through them. These are the bodies in which vision is not at all possible. We will call it as opaque bodies. Examples, anything you can take where the light vision is not possible. What are the bodies? In very simple language, stone and wood. You can take. These are the bodies through which light is not at all possible. So we will call this is an opaque body. Okay? Let us take any source which is emitting a light, and the speciality is a single ray is not possible. Every time we will get a group of rays will emanating from that source. It is not possible to take a single ray from the source. Actually, that source of light, how it is emitting the light in this air, what are the possibilities are there? Any source is giving the light. For example, this is called a ray. A single line is called the ray. Suppose if you take the group of parallel rays, I will call parallel beam. So you can expect that any source of light will give the parallel beam. A group of rays will emanating from the source. Single ray is not possible. Single ray is not possible from any source. Group of rays are emanating. This is called a pencil ray. This is called a pencil ray. These pencil rays, they will come out in the parallel form. We will call it is a parallel beam of light. You can call parallel beam of light is possible. The another possibility will be, you can take here, imagine the light rays will undergo what? Convergence. The another possibility. From the different positions, light rays are coming, they are meeting at a point, and we are calling it will be convergence. It will be convergence. This possibility will be there. From the different positions, lights are coming and they are meeting at a single point. This property we will call convergence. This point is called convergent point. In a similar manner, there will be some chances are there. From this point, the light may undergo divergence also. Like this. This property we will call divergence. Light will have the property of divergence. From a single point source, there is a source will be there. From that, light is diverging into the different directions. We will call it is undergoing divergence. So what happens if you see these two? This is called divergent point. This is called convergence point. This diagram gives the idea about the convergence of light. This diagram will give the idea of the divergence. Because from a single source, light is propagating into the different directions. Light is diverging into the different areas. We will call light has the property of divergence. Here, light is coming to one point from the different positions. Light will undergo convergence. So, now you see, there are 4 different things I have drawn on the board. What is that? A single pencil ray of light is simply you can call ray, and you have to think that one ray is not possible from the source. It is not, it is impossible to give one ray from the source. When you switch on the light, a group of rays are coming out. If the rays will travel parallel to each other, imagine we are calling it is a parallel beam of light. So you can think that when you switch on the light from the electric bulb, or the light which is coming from the sun or the star, from some unknown body, that we are getting what? Parallel beam of rays we are getting. Apart from that one, light undergoes what? Convergence property. Light will have what? Divergence property also. When the light is coming from the different directions, they has an ability to meet at a particular point. Due to that reason, we are calling it is undergoing convergence. And it has an ability, what is that? From a single point, it can diverge into the different directions. We will call it as a divergence property. Okay, so the light concept, about the ray, about the parallel beam of ray, about the convergence, and it may undergo what? Divergence also. Then light can also be called optics, because in the higher classes you have the chapter of light, but there you are going to refer with a name called optics. Light, or you can call optics. So if I will take the second word optics, optics classified into two types. Optics classified into two types. One is called physical optics. Physical optics. Next one, geometrical optics. Optics are light. If I will write light, then also 100% correct. But in the higher classes, instead of calling light, the authors in the book, they are giving the word called optics. Let us consider the second name, optics only. This optics categorized, divided, are classified into two types. One is called physical optics. Next one is called geometrical optics. Now the question arises, what is physical optics here? Which part of light we will call as a physical optics? If you are studying about the light, which part of the light? You are studying about the emission of the light. You are studying about the production of the light. And you are studying some other properties like interference, diffraction, polarization, propagation of the light. These all the concepts belongs to the physical optics here. Okay, what I said, which part of the light is called physical optics? Is it clear? Which part of the light is called physical optics? The emission of the light will become a physical optics terminology, and production of the light is a physical optics term. Propagation comes under physical optics. Other properties, I will write here, other properties, as I said in the first class, interference, diffraction, polarization. If you are studying about these terms, about this terminology, your subject related to this, we will call it as physical optics. How it is emitting, you are studying about that one. How the light undergoing production, we are studying about the production. How the light is propagating later, if you are studying interference, diffraction, polarization, if you are concentrating on these terms, or if you are studying about these terms, simply that subject in the optics, we will call it as physical optics. Then you may get a doubt, sir, if this is a physical optics, What we will call it is geometrical optics. What is geometrical optics? Geometrical optics. In the first class, for this also I have given some hint to you. If you are studying the Newton's corpuscular theory, Newton's corpuscular theory can able to explain rectilinear propagation of light, reflection of the light, refraction of the light. These terms, reflection, refraction, rectilinear propagation, this total terms together if you will put, if you will study these terms, we will call it as geometrical optics. Newton in his lifetime successfully explained about the geometrical optics. He explained successfully reflection, refraction, rectilinear propagation. That optics we will call it as geometrical optics. If you are studying about reflection, if you are studying about refraction, rectilinear propagation, that subject we will call it as geometrical optics. Okay? Rectilinear propagation of light. Rectilinear propagation of light is geometrical optics. Reflection of light is called related to geometrical optics. Last one, refraction of light is called geometrical optics. Okay? In this manner, successfully the term light or optics we have classified into two types. That is the physical optics. On what basis we are calling the physical optics? On what basis we are calling it is geometrical optics? You will find here. Okay? Thank you. With this information, I will conclude the second class in the optics. Thank you.